Welcome to Shapify Experiences, a podcast where we explore how technology, design, and human insights come together to shape meaningful digital experiences. In each episode, we dive into real conversations with experts, creators, and innovators, uncovering the ideas, challenges, and strategies behind building products that truly make an impact. If you are passionate about user experience, emerging technologies, and the future of digital products, this is the place for you. Follow the podcast to stay inspired, stay informed, and to be part of the journey as we shape the future of digital experiences together. Thank you, Jon, for accepting our invitation to being here in Shapify Experiences and to accepting us here in OutSystems office. You were announced in OutSystems 1 as the new VP of Community less than 1 month that you are taking this job. It's the perfect time for the community to know a little bit about you. So we can start maybe for you to give us a little bit introduction.
Yeah.
How was your background before OutSystems, and we can start from there.
Right on. Awesome. Yeah. Thanks. Thank you for having me on the show. Appreciate you coming to Lisbon to record me, to be at the office.
Yeah. Thank you for coming to Portugal. It was a good opportunity for us to catch you in this moment.
Yes, it's always my pleasure to come to Portugal. I love it here. Anytime I'm invited, I'm usually going to say yes to come to Portugal. So my background, I think I started in tech when I was a teenager. You know, I took an interest in computers when I was in high school. I worked at a local computer shop in my neighborhood. There was a guy, and he would fix everyone's computer. They'd all bring them to him if they got a virus or needed a screen fixed or whatever it was, right? We all had that guy. And so he taught me a ton of stuff, and I took an interest in computers, and in building them, I think, was the first thing that really got me excited. Putting a whole computer together. Setting up, slotting the RAM, like making sure that your CPU is right so you don't bend your pins, right? Like just routing all the cables and trying to make it look nice. It felt to me like I was like putting together, like I was doing something beyond what I should have been able to do, like I was able to harness this technology. And so that kind of started the path for me of I'm going to do tech. And so it started out with like help desk, right? Because I was already in the computer shop and I knew how to help a user with anything. Oh, your printer's broken, your screen is off, your mouse doesn't work, whatever, I could fix it. So help desk was the natural place to begin. From help desk, I got bored and tired of dealing with end users every single day who are unhappy. And I went to systems. And so systems is servers. You're more in the closet, right? Installing things, provisioning things. You're behind the scenes a little more. From systems, I went to networking because I found out that the networking guys made a lot more money than the systems guys. And I was like, I want to go and make the big money. So I went and got a CCNA certification, Certified Cisco Network Analyst, which I still feel like is one of the hardest tests I've ever taken in my life. I failed it the first time. I had to take it a second time. It was brutal. And so then I was doing switches and routers, building networks for schools. And then I got a job at HTC. And HTC, they used to make cell phones, and now they make VR headsets. When I landed there doing systems and network, I every day started seeing this community team. And they would oftentimes have customers at the office. They'd be hosting parties like user groups or meetups or whatever. Back then they just called it parties. We didn't have a title for it, right?
There was no community, it was party.
Yeah. And so I was like, I went and talked to them and I was like, what do you guys do? And they're like, oh, we're the community team. And I was like, what does that mean? And they're like, oh, we help people feel connected to the product and to each other. And I was like, that's a job? And they're like, yeah.
It seems more interesting than mine.
Way more interesting than what I was doing, right? And so I was like, what do you guys get paid? And they're like, hey, we get paid pretty good. And I was like, so, okay, you're making good money and you're not like doing all the hard work. You're like helping people see the potential in the tools and in each other. And I was like, that's golden. You know, I saw them all talking to people all day long. And I had this thing when I was a kid where I was always like, one day, like my dad and my grandfather, they were laborers. They both worked with their back and with their muscles, right? And my whole life, I was like, I'm not going to do that. One day, they're going to pay me just to talk. And so I saw these people, and that's what they were doing. They were just talking every day, and they were getting paid to talk to people every day. And I was like, that's for me. So I started asking them, you know, can I help out? Can I help out? Can I help out? And they would let me. They'd give me odd jobs. They'd give me things to do, and I would do them. And over time, I built this wonderful resume of all these things that I had done for community, with community. And I was like, maybe I can get a job somewhere and do community. And so I started looking around, and I noticed that Microsoft had a ton of jobs for community. I applied to a couple, I didn't get them. So I was like, okay, I want to get into Microsoft because they're doing a lot in community. I want to be there. I want to like be in the scene, because it was like developer community was just being defined, right? This is early days, 15 years ago, 17 years ago, right? Like this is early days. So I'm like, I want to be there. So I got a job doing tech stuff, networking and servers and stuff at Microsoft, but I wanted to get in the building, right? I wanted to talk to people.
Yeah,
so
at least you were inside already.
At least I'm inside. The Trojan horse has entered the arena, right? So it didn't take me long. I would say 3, 4, 5 months, something like that. I just started meeting people, walking the halls, knocking on doors, introducing myself. And I met a guy, Brian Tomlinson. And Brian Tomlinson ran a product called Windows App Studio, and he was starting a community position for it. And I was like, Brian, I want to do community work. And so he gave me the job. Like I interviewed, you know, and he gave me the job. And I thank him to this day, you know, because he makes a joke, you know, I know him. He's still a pal of mine. I've kept in touch over all the years, and I always thank him, you know, and if we're ever together, I'll make sure people know he's the guy who gave me my start. And he likes to tell this joke that, like, yeah, even though you showed up for your interview in a leather jacket, I still gave you the job, you know? And so he likes to break, you know, my back about it a little bit. And so it's pretty funny, but he gave me that moment, and that's where everything began. So Windows App Studio was one of Microsoft's first low-code tools. It was for Windows Phone. It was so you could build an app for a Windows Phone. Okay. And so I helped that program grow to like 1 million users. And then Microsoft gave me the opportunity to start a new job. They wanted to hire me full time because at that time I was a contractor doing the tech stuff. And they're like, hey, we have an opportunity for you to become full time, to actually go work on a new product. And so this was the dream come true, right? I'm gonna get to do community for Microsoft. And so they gave me this code name project. It was called Project Sienna at the time, which grew up to become Power Apps. And so Power Apps is where I spent the first time at Microsoft as an FTE. I helped that community grow to about 500,000 monthly active users. And then I had a passion and left Microsoft for this drone thing that I was really into, which was really stupid looking back. I shouldn't have done it, but also like I don't really regret it because all the experience I have from it, everything I learned, even the losses I had from it, right? Like it taught me a lot.
Yeah, it's all these learnings that you get.
Yeah, so it was this drone company called eHang, and their thing was, there was 2 major products they had. One was a drone that you controlled with your phone. You could drive it around with your phone, which didn't actually work all that well. A controller is better. And the second one was a drone that carried a person. You get inside of the quadcopter, it lifts off and drives you places. And they actually are flying these things in China. It was a Chinese drone company called eHang. And so they have these things actually working right now in China. It's crazy. But anyways, I went to that company. I was there for like 9 or 10 months.
But there you were not doing community or you
I was director of digital marketing, which included community as well. So I was doing the whole digital marketing experience and community.
And community.
Yeah. Yeah. And so then from there, my old boss at Microsoft was like, hey, we're launching a new part of the Power Platform. we want you to come back and run community for both Power Apps and what at the time was Microsoft Flow.
Okay.
And then Microsoft Flow became Power Automate. Right?
Okay.
Well, funny story. Before it was Microsoft Flow, it was Process Simple.
Okay.
So it was a hackathon project that got spun out into a real product.
Okay.
Small fact that most people don't know.
Okay.
And so then I was there, and I spent 4.5 years then leading Power Platform community. And so I helped Power Apps, Power Automate, Power Virtual Agents, which everyone now knows as Copilot Studio. Those were my 3 products that I led for community. And so helped them grow to a couple million users and $1 billion in ARR and one of the world's most ravenous developer communities.
Developers.
Yeah.
And that was already about low code, right? That platforms have some similarities with OutSystems because it's not traditional developing. It's already low code platforms.
Exactly. Yeah, low code is my history. Windows App Studio, Power Apps, Power Automate, Power Virtual
All
Agents,
of them
the
is
whole
about
stack, right? It's all low code. And so that's definitely a lot of my history is community around low code. And then, so from there I went to DocuSign, and it was funny because, I can say this now, right? Like Microsoft was one of the most passionate communities on the planet, right? DocuSign was the opposite.
Okay. So they see opportunity. So it's harder to grow this one. Maybe DocuSign have much more potential to grow. Okay.
I think the Power Platform one had a lot of potential at the start, and we really maximized that. DocuSign, it's tough to grow community around something that is truly an integration, right? Because if you think about it, the signature piece is not
a smaller piece.
It's a small piece, and no one's really passionate about it. It's just a requirement, right? And so that was a much different challenge, and a challenge of a different scale. Right, Microsoft was millions of users, and DocuSign we counted success in tens of thousands of users. Right, and so different types of programs, different types of personas, much different experience. Spent many years there as well, mostly because I am stubborn and I really wanted to see it grow to those big numbers. Right, and so I spent a lot of time trying to get it to grow to those big numbers. But I think ultimately it's never going to, because what is your whole potential? Right?
It's a very specific thing. There is not something that you can do much more broad things.
And so then finally from there, before coming to OutSystems, I went to an AI startup. I was very interested in when AI came out. I am very bullish. I'm a heavy user of the tools. I would say I'm pretty advanced at AI overall. I love to tinker. I love to build. I have a GitHub with 100 projects of my own. And so I went to an AI startup to help them build something really unique that I thought. Really bad time, but a really cool product. And it was a travel-focused AI that essentially would watch travel videos and produce you a full itinerary of everything you saw in the video. So you had to do no research. It was cool. We got some early support. We got some early users. Things were going well. It was awesome. And then the world changed. War broke out and everything shifted and travel went, all but stopped. So that was a cool experience in the way of getting to go and lead product as well as community, right? Because I was getting to vision where we went and what we built. Because I was also leading the community, we thought of it as a community-led growth motion. What the community wanted, we built, right? And so that was an amazing way to get to take my community experience of all these years and translate it directly into something that affected a product line. And so getting to see that side of it was a whole really fun experience. But again, obviously, as it didn't work out because the world changed and
But for sure, you learn a lot about the AI in that moment.
I learned so much about AI, about how to apply it, about how to distribute it, about the problems of distribution and governance, about harnessing and predictability and creating agents, right? I was creating agents like long before agents were the discussion, right? and I even make jokes about it, right? Like, what is making agents? Like, ultimately, it's like Python and cron jobs, right? Like, that's what agents are, right? Like, and so once you get to the end level and you really understand it, that's where you end up, right? And so
something that runs sometime.
yeah. So, but amazing experience. I had a really cool team. We had some really great users and interest, and that was fun. But then this came, the OutSystems opportunity.
How appeared the OutSystems opportunity?
You know, a friend sent it to me. I wasn't even really looking, and a friend sent it to me, say, "Oh, Jon, I saw this job on LinkedIn. I think you'd be perfect for it." And so, I went and checked it out, and I was like, I think I would be perfect for it.
It's in Portugal. You mentioned it.
So yes, okay. So let me mention that I am a huge fan of travel and a huge fan of Portugal. I've been here 6 times, and so when I saw that the job was based in Portugal, that was like a huge thing for me. I was like, oh, that is a huge plus. So I think it's cool because they're a Portuguese company and they're trying to have a little bit more of a U.S. focus. So they didn't think that my being in the U.S. was a negative, right? So it worked out really well, I think, on all sides there. So that was definitely a plus. I think the other big thing that really stood out to me and why I came was it feels like a similar opportunity. I up to this point, I have talked about my Power Platform time. I would call it the work of my life, right? It was the work that I felt the most in the zone, right? I did my best work. I gave the best of myself. I saw the best results. And so this time at OutSystems, like seeing this now in the AI moment felt reminiscent, right?
Because felt like you can do the same or better again.
Yeah, because trying to get people to see themselves as a developer with low code, right? To get a normal person to say, oh yeah, I'm a developer too, right? That was the challenge we were trying to solve with low code. That's the same challenge we're now trying to solve with AI.
With AI.
Right? And so I get really passionate about that because like for me, the coolest thing about the community job is the impact it has on people's lives. To see someone who started, I have this amazing story, I know a guy and he started as like a security agent at the airport, and then he started working in low code, and then he got a job doing low code, then leading a low code team, then he's like an IT specialist, right? Like his career trajectory went through the
completely
roof.
Changed
his whole stars, changed his whole life, right? And so like that's the thing that really gets me. And so I think that this AI moment, in America, there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of replacement, right? People are being laid off
fear
because of AI, and there's a lot of fear. And I think what's really cool about OutSystems is they're like, we need more developers. Like, we have lots of jobs, there's a lot of work, we need more developers. And so like, that to me screamed an amazing differentiator in today's market. I think like, while they're talking about how many jobs they have, a lot of places are talking about the shrinkage of jobs, and so that felt really cool because that's an opportunity for me to help grow that ripple effect and help more people have that career change. And I think what the big thing that sold me was I think that OutSystems is really well positioned, maybe even more than they understand. I think I look at our messaging 4 weeks in for OutSystems, and they're talking about certain things. And I see a potential that is even beyond what they are talking about for themselves, right? I think that
you are at 8th day in one, right? I remember when you were announced, you were just in the 8th day. So you basically start and go to the one conference and get the opportunity to see. I think was the best onboarding possible.
I never had as good an onboarding as that. Yeah, getting to go to one and see how the company presents itself, to see how the community reacts to how we present ourselves, to see how we interact with each other as company and community. Like all of that was so valuable to me to get to witness. Best onboarding ever, ever, for sure.
Yeah. But you were saying something. Okay, but we can continue. So you are now in OutSystems. How have been this month until now? what you learn, how you see the company until now.
Yeah.
What is your opinion?
So the first month has been crazy, right? Because 3 days in, fly to one conference, get announced on stage on day 8, right? Definitely mental. Second week, I actually had to take the week off. I had a personal family thing.
Okay.
Third week, I did all my actual onboarding, security training, privacy training, sign up for your benefits and taxes, right? And then now this is week 4.
Okay.
The one thing I will say is I have definitely witnessed a couple of things already that I feel really, really good about. You know, you start a new job and you wonder if you did the right thing often, right? Did I make the right move? Did I go to the right place? I'm happy to say that even in week 4, with all the chaos, I already feel like I'm in the right place. And I think there's like 2 or 3 key things I've seen as to why. One, the community is awesome. And anything before OutSystems, the community loves OutSystems, which means we're doing something right, right? That part I appreciate and I like. To get to come in as a community leader into a place where the community likes you, that's a great place to start. Yeah.
One thing about the community that I think is very interesting, and I don't know the very detail about the numbers, but the quantity of persons in the community comparing to the dimension itself of the product, because the product is everywhere in the world, but still limited in some companies. But the community versus the dimension comparing to, I don't know, like other products that are much more used and maybe have smaller communities.
Yeah.
The differentiator, I think, is huge.
Definitely. I have felt that.
Yeah.
I think the second thing is passion. Every person who works for OutSystems is so passionate. Like, they love OutSystems. They love our community. They want to help people. They want people to have more. They want to help them get what they need. They want to connect them to each other. I think that the community's love is an obvious symptom of the love that I see the team giving also, right? I think I see it in both directions, which makes me very happy. The third thing that I've seen so far is there's a high density of talent. Like, my team specifically, I haven't gotten to meet a lot of the other teams. I'm so impressed at the amount of talent on my team. Again, I think you come into this type of position with a team that's already established, and one of those concerns you have is like, oh man, you know, how many people are not doing their job, right? How many people are not, am I going to have to work with to fix things, right? And I feel like I've come in and
everything feels in place.
Everybody is rowing. Everybody's rowing, right? And like, it feels really special. It feels really cool. It feels very justified. I feel like I'm going to get to do the work of my life, and that feels exciting.
Yeah, seems very nice. What you see, how you see, now that you are this month, just one. What is the first things that you start seeing that you might want to change, or that you want to do with the community?
So, I mean, I think it's early for me to talk about changes yet. I think I'm still trying to listen. And so I am listening with my team. I've been going to user groups. I've been trying to meet with MVPs and champions. My LinkedIn has been on fire, which I welcome. Hit me up on LinkedIn. I'd love to hear from everybody. Right now I'm listening because the last thing I want to do is come in with some idea in mind that doesn't fit and then try and force it on because it's the idea I came in with. Instead, I think the cool thing is I don't have to rush, and I get to define a plan that is very based on what this place needs. So I think right now, really what I want to do is continue the listening tour. I want to hear from MVPs, champions, and community members. I'd love to hear from business users. I would love to hear from a myriad of participants. But I think like some of the things, that I'm hearing early on is that maybe we can, do some better definition around things and bring some clarity to some of the programs and do some more promotion of the MVPs. And, I saw that a bunch of the MVPs wrote books. Like, I would love to buy some of those books and hand them out at our OutSystems events, right? Like, I know a bunch of MVPs and champions do videos. Like, how do I get those videos on our YouTube channel? I would love to do more in the way of promoting the people who are doing awesome things in our community. I think that's one thing that I see already. And it's not that I think we're doing a bad job. It's just that I believe we could do more even. We could do even more. I think, I want to, I need to figure out how to get OutSystems more known in the USA, right? I think that worldwide, I see there is an amazing passion. Europe, APAC, right? Like, killer passion. US, like, nobody knows what it is, right? And so how can I leverage the energy that's taking place over here and show some of it over there, right? Because I think that that's something that's sorely needed in the US. People need, like, they're dying for community and connection and something to be passionate about, because everything feels gloomy and sad and hopeless, right? And so I think a community like this, being able to show that, it's going to have an impact. People are going to want to be a part of it. I mean, so, like, I don't know if those are the answers you're looking for, but there are some of the early things that I'm thinking about how I'm trying to operate, and definitely some of the things that I think as table stakes I want to establish.
Yeah, it makes totally sense. You need to first understand better how things are before starting planning how to go. But you already said some nice things. I was thinking about community itself. You mentioned also that we are in a other moment, like when it was the low-code moment. Now we are in the AI moment. Do you feel that the community, or in general the world, maybe is ready for this change, or about this AI new way of working? What the community member what you feel that each one of us need to do as developers to embrace the new AI world?
I mean, I think what's interesting to me is, as developers, what has happened is it shouldn't be seen as a replacement. This is my problem right now, is there's way too much talk of replacement.
There's fear.
I don't like that. In my mind, the best use of AI is not taking a human's whole job. The best use of AI is, like, helping me find the best sandwich in every city in the world. I think if I had an AI that told me where to find the best sandwich no matter where I was, that's an epic use of AI, right? But, like, taking my buddy's job, like, that sucks, right? So I think right now, the way that I am really trying to think about this is enhancement, right? Like, everybody can utilize AI for enhancement. Developers can code faster because of AI. They can create more output because of AI. I think that business users can do way more because of AI. But then it's incumbent upon developers to, like, help the business users understand proper guardrails, deployment, governance, right? Like distribution models, right? Like, we should help people who don't understand, but at the same time, we should allow those folks to enhance their work as well, right? And so, in my mind, it's very similar to the low-code moment. I think of it as enhancement. What did we talk about in low-code? Build faster, deploy better, more safe, right? Predictable, guardrails, everything that we said in low-code, we can say again in AI. And so I think that for developers right now, what should they be doing? I believe that they should be understanding the outer limits, less about the creation, because I think that the creation piece, there's now, like, you can create with anything. But I think in being a driving force of governance and distribution, I think you now have the next layer of opportunity. Whereas if we, look at the last 10 years, what was, like, the big thing for developers? Like, security. Still a huge thing. A huge thing. But I think, like, governance and deployment is the next frontier for where a developer is going to be able to go and stake a claim and say, hey, this is a huge area. Because now as companies are going top down and demanding that users use these AI tools, what's funny is at the same time, most of that work is stalling and never making it to production because there's no good governance and distribution method. So if you, as a developer, can specialize in the governance and distribution and helping all these other users understand how to take their vibe-coded crap and make it to production in a safe manner that protects the business and minimizes risk, I truly believe that that's the next frontier.
Yeah, I think so. And one thing that I believe about the fear that people might feeling, even that AI is bringing more velocity. Low code was also faster, but now there is other level. I think with velocity come even more demand. Like if now a developer can or might not be necessary because my colleague can do my job and his job, but there is more things to do. Like
Exactly.
And until now, probably there were a lot of companies that were not doing their software because it was too expensive. There was it was just not possible. Now it will start being possible to do much more. So I believe it will be, even that we can do much more, it will be much more demand in everyone. And maybe we need more. I believe we need more developers than the opposite, that we'll start having less developers.
I think so. I think that right now we're in a weird period where the American market is driving this reductionism, and I think we will see a correction. I think that a lot of folks who have been let go will be hired back because I think, I don't know about you. I'll speak for myself. Since starting working with AI, I don't work less.
Yes.
Right? I don't work less.
But you just produce more. But
I produce more, but I work the same amount.
Yes.
Right? And so I think that if we think of it in that way, very realistically, if we are producing more outputs, we need more quality assurance. We need more tests. We need more, right? So the whole ecosystem should, in essence, be growing, right? But now they're saying, oh, well, we'll put agents on it, which in some places, totally, agents are very useful. But I think that I am still bullish on a human in the loop, right? If we look at like Meta as an example, went to agents reviewing all their code, scrapped it. Humans review code now. Yeah. Agents can produce code, but who's reviewing the code? Humans. Right? Human in the loop.
At least the critical ones. I believe you might have some AI reviewing some basic things, or some things, but there are some critical things that need to be. This thing about AI. So the developers can now produce more, and you're saying that I just lost. So developers can produce more. They will be more productive. But the low-code platform or the OutSystems environment, I believe, is in a good position because we are making this. It's like if you are doing this again, like a mindset of OutSystems developer is something that is someone that needed to be focused on the problem, like because it was already more easy to develop software, to create the software. A typical OutSystems developer was focused more in the solution, in the business solution instead of the code. And AI it make this even more. Like I believe the developers from the traditional code, instead of being focused on the solution, sometimes they are too much focused in the code. They have requirements, they have tasks to do, and they can make the code without understanding the business. They are too much focused on the bits and bytes. And low code, and basically the platform is not the platform as a low code platform start this, but now in a agentic moment, and even elevate this to other level, and OutSystems developers already have this mindset. I think this is one of the things that it highlights everyone in the community or in the thing in OutSystems. How this is not a question actually. I was thinking louder a little bit about these things that we were talking, but I still feel that. There is here a step that is a little bit hard for some of us, like start thinking different about agents. Now I will not just do software. I need to think in an agent itself. We used to, actually one of the first podcasts we did was with a guy that actually is working with us. And the main thing we talked in that podcast was that the user experience is changing of the software. Mm-hmm. It will be changing so much because the UI part is disappearing. Mm-hmm. Because if we have agents, it means that we need to interact less with the interface. Mm-hmm. So the interface will read us, and more things will happen in the background. Yep. Do you have any comment about this? How a developer can start thinking more in a agentic way?
Yeah, I think if you have spent any amount of time thinking through business process, you already have a good leg up in thinking through agentic, right? Uh-huh. Because an agent essentially is going to replace a couple of the human steps in the loop, uh-huh. right? And so if you have an approval that typically relied on a human in a workflow, it could now become an agentic workflow where now, based on a certain field, it decides, does it route to the agent or does it route to the human? For instance, approval on an amount. Certain amount underneath goes to an agent, right? Has all the context, able to approve or deny. If not, goes to a human. And so I think as you're thinking through how do I begin to think of agents, the easiest way to think of it is to make your workflows a bit more intelligent, mm-hmm. right? I think that's one of the simplest ways. I think to dig a little deeper, though, if I'm thinking about like, okay, I'm a developer and I've been doing OutSystems and things are changing and how do I want to position myself now? I think looking at how it's going headless, I think is the next frontier in being able to create in Claude or Kiro or whatever you want, mm-hmm. while then being able to deploy through OutSystems. I think that this is kind of that's like the dart hit, the bullseye, right? Because I think as I'm looking at how AI jobs are evolving, nobody is buying one tool, mm-hmm. right? There's no one platform that is the answer for everything. And so I think if I'm an OutSystems developer, I'm now trying to think about my story of my place in the world. And I believe right now OutSystems is really well positioned in like the governance and deployment space. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you build with Claude and your infrastructure is on Azure or whatever. Like, you know, you have developers building things in Azure. You want the business to also be building. Like, okay, cool. We can fit in here with governance and deployment. And so, it frees up, I think, a lot of opportunity for someone because now you don't have to try and sell just OutSystems. What you're doing now is selling control and, mm-hmm. and minimizing risk in a job that already has a huge budget, because if they're paying for AI, right, it's $2, $4, $10, $20, $50 million. If someone doesn't care about $40,000 for an OutSystems license for governance, right, and deployment and helping the business utilize the tools and helping the IT team feel safe and like they're minimizing risk, right? I think there's a lot of benefits in that arena, mm-hmm. and I would probably start looking at positioning myself that way, because if I look at where 90% of AI jobs are failing out in the market, it's governance, right? And so if we have that answered and if we have that experience as developers, that's an easy way to come in and talk about being the doctor to somebody's pain, you know?
Yeah, you actually directly answered to a question that I wanted to do, that was comparing the experience of using OutSystems or just doing a Claude application or using Vibe code or traditional developing. Yep. Actually, the question is like now that it's easy to create software in a traditional way because there are AI helping you. The velocity, the velocity is not anymore the
not
thing.
the differentiator.
You can also be faster with other ways. But the maintenance and the governance, actually, I don't want to answer this. I want to ask you, like, what you you already answered part, but what you think is it highlights the platform comparing to a traditional development experience.
I think it is entirely deployment and governance. I mean, I think also obviously giving business users a tool set to be able to utilize that is, somewhat still in control of IT and the tech teams, being able to have some sort of control and minimize risk is the built-in value. It's what we've taken from our low-code time into this new era. I think, but to your point, like building has become fast everywhere. And so I don't think that that's our natural advantage anymore. I do think it is in how we can help minimize risk and deploy these tools.
Because there is a high risk about the other way. The other way around, everyone can generate code. Okay, but now you have, I generate code, you generate code, my colleagues generate code. What we do with all of that, that code?
And if we don't have any sort of ALM, right now it's the Wild West. And now somebody leaves, that application gets lost. Who knows how to pick it back up or work on it, right? Like now I'm depending on my LLM. Hey, Claude, we have this orphan project I need you to figure out, right? And now we're in a terrible loop where understanding is gone and we're relying on complete lack of human intelligence, complete lack of human context to try and rebuild a process that might be very important to us, right? So the risk is just exponential without some sort of control system. And so I think that that's where I believe, like, that's why I keep saying to everyone, like, we have to figure out our place in the world. And I really believe that that's it.
Because if it'll be a small project, a personal project, okay, it doesn't matter. I just create a website and put it. But for enterprise companies that cannot tolerate risk, like having a platform as OutSystems that provide that guidance, and actually one thing that we are not also talking, okay, it provides us the security layer, but also if a company centralizes things in OutSystems, or even if don't have all of the data in OutSystems and connect OutSystems to multiple places, it kind of have a platform that orchestrates most of the applications. I think that can be it's one of the big advantage also. In one, they talk also about the graph that give you the context about the platform. I believe these new things that OutSystems is showing us, it really make the difference. Part of them, are still early, but I agree that is a good path to is a new version of the low code in the past.
Yes. We're leveraging the best parts of what we built, while also, I think headless, like you said, we don't need a UX, we don't need a UI, right? We just need an agent to access the data and the systems. And so I think us going headless is the right move, being able to build in whatever way you want. I mean, look at Salesforce, right? They took their platform headless, they went crazy exponential in usage and value. Right? I think for us, it makes great sense to do the same thing. I think it's the future. It's the wave, right? Like where if we're all using these tools to build, why would we focus on any kind of interface? Why wouldn't we allow a user to build in whatever fashion they want, utilizing the framework underneath? Because that's the important part.
Completely. And the way of doing things, I think, is changing. Just yesterday, actually, the user group that we went together, there was a guy showing like a web page generating in real time.
The cuttlefish thing, right? Isn't that what it was called? That was amazing. Yeah. The guy, I couldn't believe that was like a homebrewed tool. Like I looked also, I was like localhost. I was like, oh, this dude made this thing. It was like, wow, yeah. And I mean, just to show you, right? Like he's using old models, right? And what he was able to do to generate a dynamic web page or flyer or anything on the fly in seconds.
Yeah.
The way he cut the time down, I mean, it's incredible what you can build now, right?
Yeah.
It's I heard somebody say it recently. There's no value left in building, right? All the value is in distribution now.
Yeah.
So it's funny how we were led to believe that building technology was the be-all, end-all, but then all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait a second, we all have to be in marketing? Right? Dang it.
Yeah, I took the opportunity to talk a little bit with him, and the thing of generating UI in the fly is amazing, because one thing that we have been testing also in MediaWeb is about high personalization. And to have high personalization, you cannot build something static for everyone.
Yeah.
You need to start generating things on the fly.
Yeah.
And I really believe this is the future. Like in the future, instead of me to have a dashboard that is the same of the dashboard of the HR platform, and then an application that is the CRM, and then other application. It might be possible just to have one application that connects for everyone, and just give me the important thing in the important time.
Yeah.
And also being proactive, like generating just UI. Maybe I can also talk and ask the different things. Being proactive, like, look, you have this to do. I just made. Is okay for you?
Yeah.
I believe this is part of the future, and I believe OutSystems with these integrations and now we can connect AI models and clouds and things to help generate this thing. I think it is in the right path.
I like the idea of generative UI based on personalization. I think that there's definitely some potential for that in serving up unique experiences, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
We'll try that it is something that we are experiment. I actually did a talk also about that, the generative UI.
Okay.
I made a test, like, for example, two bank applications. Why they look the same? Like if you have the same bank and you open your bank and I open my bank account, we have the same interface. The only thing that changes is the movements and the value that you have in your account and I have in mine.
Yep.
But why? Like if a student open the application and an investor open the application, why the investor don't have suggestions of places to apply the money, while the student have suggestions of savings or something like that? It's something that should be dynamic. We have been exploring this, and maybe sooner we will have a test on top of OutSystems, because in OutSystems we can expose, for example, APIs, and then just making the interface that consume that APIs and generate things on the fly.
Man, let's do a demo.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let me know. I would love to see it.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, and I think we are on time. It's a good takeaway also. So
Awesome.
This generative AI, we will talk again about that.
Perfect. That's a good segue.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay. Thank you again for receiving us.
Thanks so much
for
for
being
having me.
here.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to talk with you.
Thanks.